If you thought a console could contain this virtual vixen, you're dead wrong. Lara Croft has a face that launched 1,000 products or more, and Tomb Raider is a multi-billion-dollar empire. Just think, 11 years ago, nobody ever heard of Lara. Then, in late 1996, her creator got a shock.
I remember going down to the game shop in the high street, standing in a queue and having people both ahead of me and behind me holding copies of the game and talking about how excited they were. And it was just this really strange feeling, realising that it actually was going to be majorly successful.
Toby's hard-nosed heroine was a hit. Shortly afterwards, Lara landed on the cover of Britain's The Face magazine, a spot typically reserved for real-life high-fashion trends.
That was the defining moment that made the statement that we had something that was truly going to become mass market and successful.
249 magazine covers later, Lara was a worldwide phenomenon, signing lucrative international deals.
You've got Tomb Raider scooters and Tomb Raider motorbike helmets. In France, Lara was made into a postage stamp. In Spain, she's been the face of SEAT. They had a whole series of advertising based around Lara.
For more than a decade, advertisers have sought a piece of Lara to help boost sales. But how does Eidos do this without selling out? That's where Janet Swallow comes in. As VP of licensing, she's called daily by folks looking to stamp Lara on anything, from lunch pails to garden hoses, pizzas to bedsheets. Rarely does a product make the cut.
Eidos as a company is very, very protective over Lara, so we're very careful with the merchandise that we choose. We've had two odd requests. One of them is a racehorse owner called to say could he call his racehorse after Lara, which we declined.
We were really worried that it would fall at the first hurdle, so we said that was no.
And the second one was a tulip grower in Holland to name one of their brand of tulips after Lara, which I thought was quite nice.
While the official Lara tulip grows, other deals, such as Lara Croft knickers, wilt.
I think maybe because that's quite a hard act to follow, you know, to put on some underwear that's got Lara Croft on it with Lara's signature. I think it's a tough one. It was the weakest.
In 1998, legendary band U2 asked Lara to jump on the successful Pop Mart tour, a harmonious boost for Eidos. 1 year later, comic book publisher Top Cow approached Eidos about serializing Lara's adventures in a monthly comic title. Eidos loved the idea, and the series ran for 5 straight years. That same year, in pages of another kind, Lara Croft model Nell McAndrew posed for Playboy in the controversial spread Lara Croft Nude. Eidos pulled the trigger on a lawsuit, forcing Playboy to pull those copies from shelves and alter the cover. Perhaps the strongest deal in the history of the franchise went down in 2001. Lara Croft had all but conquered the game world. So, what's a young woman to do? Simple. Head to Hollywood. But first, film producer Lloyd Levin had to convince studio execs to take a little gamble on Lara.
There was very little awareness within the movie industry about the potential of video games. When we were submitting the property to studios, there were a number of cases where we had to submit PlayStation consoles so they could play the game.
Video games didn't have a great history of silver screen iterations. Box office busts like Super Mario Bros. Turned off much of the game-based film viewing public.
It was somehow assumed that it just wouldn't work. We never had any doubt, and we knew that it was a great opportunity to actually do something that was a little bit unprecedented.
Paramount took a swing at the pitch and hit a grand slam. With heavy hitter Angelina Jolie filling Lara's boots, Tomb Raider 1 grossed almost $50 million opening weekend, $300 million total. The film eclipsed Alien as the highest moneymaker with a female lead. A second Tomb Raider followed in 2003, and buzz about a third movie can now be heard worldwide. Looking ahead, there's sure to be plenty more Lara coming your way. From an animated series to a theme park, the whole world is still Croft crazy.
The fact that she's 10 years old in game is quite a long time. So I think she's a digital icon for computer games, not just for now, but forevermore. Rather like James Bond has survived 40 years in the movie industry, Lara Croft is the digital icon of the computer games world.
Next week, Gametap TV continues the exclusive look at the franchise that changed the face of video games.
The goal was to have her as an exaggerated representation of the female form.
Some fantasies do become reality.
10 years of Tomb Raider, a Gametap retrospective. Catch all of the webisodes on demand, only on Gametap TV.